stream in like the other way, so I was not prepared. I was ready to stream portrait and I accidentally went live in landscape mode, so we're gonna have to figure this out because I don't have a tripod on me. We'll wait for others to come, I guess, so I'll just find a tripod while you guys are here. How is everyone? Are you well? I'm going into the part of the house where reception isn't great, so I apologize. Wait, that's not where it is. I can't remember where the tripod is. Where did I put it last? It must be in here. Whoops, there's another one over there. Hi everyone. I hope you've all been well. I'm going into a dark room. Let me turn the light on. That's okay. Oh, this is very impromptu, as you can tell. Good morning, beautiful dawn. It is nighttime here in Australia. That's why I look like this. I didn't want to make my skin worse by putting makeup on this late or do my hair. I've been doing too much to my hair lately, so I didn't want to make it worse. Oh, where can I put you for now? How about you have a little look at Kirkus? Where are you, Kirk? He's eating his food at the moment, sorry. I did this, clearly I didn't do a heck of a lot of planning, but I really wanted to connect with you guys tonight because I do have some really important updates to tell you. Okay. I'm just setting up the tripod for those who have just joined. That's why I'm not in frame at the moment. I wasn't expecting it to stream landscape mode. I was hoping it would be in portrait mode. So, don't mind me. Let me fix this. For those who follow me on Instagram, this is going to look very familiar. This little layout. There we go. Oh, that's going to be a bit too close, will it? Let me move you back. Maybe if I sit the other way. Oh my gosh. I clearly did not plan this well enough. A Capricorn not planning? The audacity. It is giving me a little bit of anxiety, I'm not going to lie. I like to be well planned. Is this going to be better? There we go. That's better. Is it? Do I need to turn the light on too? Oh, come on, work with me. Oh, well, that might help the rain. Oh, my heart, it just fell back. There we go. Oh my goodness. That's not gonna work. What about this? Oh my gosh. Oh lordy. Oh, I can reverse you guys? Wow, there you go. I'm watching True Blood at the moment. That's why the screen looks crazy. Oh Lord. Okay. I should just hold it, shouldn't I? There we go. That might do it. Oh, we're gonna have to deal with the angle being like this. But welcome everyone. I do have some news to share with you. That's why I set this live stream today. I've got some updates. Basically, I have started, well, hello. I have started doing some personal readings again. So the last time that I did personal readings was literally May 2020. The OGs will know. I started doing them in May 2020. Hi everyone, welcome. And back in May, I was still feeling my way through doing personal readings online, because before then, all the personal readings that I'd ever done were in person, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work doing it online. So I overcommitted myself and I took on way too many readings at once back in May 2020. and I basically burnt myself out. On top of that, my YouTube channel grew a lot, and it grew to the point where I was not expecting it to be that big. So my energy was just being pulled in every which way, and it was a learning experience to say the least. So I took a long time learning from that experience, and also just growing the Hermit Tarot as you know it today. So Kirk's just joined us now. So I recently started doing my personal readings again, and I have this kind of more fluid structure is what I want to say. So I guess before I get ahead of myself, I'll start by saying that my personal readings firstly went live on Sunday last week. Literally not even last week, we're Monday today. My personal readings went live Sunday yesterday at midnight, and that was the first restocking that I had done. The only place to get a personal reading from me is on my website. I had prepared to stock 21 personal readings on Sunday midnight. But they all sold out in 6 minutes. And the only people that I told were patrons as well as website contacts. And I wanted to make this live stream because literally by 10 past 12, I was getting a lot of emails and a lot of messages from people saying, like, I've followed your link in the email that you sent me and there's no personal readings. So it wasn't a joke. That email was correct, but I do need you to know that that first round clearly had a lot of demand and they sold within 6 minutes. So what I look at him, it's his birthday this week, you guys. Oh, he's 16 this week. So what I'm going to do next time is I will be sending out that email. I will be able to let all the website subscribers know. So what happens is if you subscribe to my website by doing the Stay Informed contact form, it allows me to send out an email campaign to everyone who has filled out that form. And then I can basically inform you all at the exact same time when my personal readings are restocked. So if you're a part of that Stay Informed subscriber list, you'll get that email with everybody else and you have a fairer chance of being able to book a personal reading. So I just wanted to explain that's what happened. They were restocked, but they only stayed stocked for like 6 minutes and 47 seconds. It was crazy. And not only that, but even though I only restocked 21, the website got so overwhelmed that it accidentally booked 25. So I do have more than I bargained for, but I also only booked so much so that I wouldn't be over committing myself. So I am taking personal readings again. That's the main reason that I'm coming back, is I wanted to let you all know, because I do know that you guys, a lot of you had subscribed to the website and were very confused as to why all the readings were sold out. It is cold in Australia. It's cold in Cairns where I live. But don't judge me. I come from a very tropical place. So cold for us is like 20 degrees Celsius. So that's like a British summer, I think. So that's, yeah. It's probably a lot colder down south. I've got family down there who say that it's very, very cold. Yes, he's a Lionsgate baby. Look at him in the background. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to tell you guys about in terms of summer at our place. I thought so. That's what I wanted to tell you guys about when it comes to the personal readings. Now, the other thing that I needed to say is that the personal readings will change on a weekly basis. For the month of August, I'm going to be restocking my readings every Sunday. So every Sunday, there will be another restocking. I'll be scheduling out my week ahead during the day. And then Sunday in the evening, I'm not going to say a specific time. We're just going to hope that if you're meant to have that reading, when you get that email, just click on the link straight away. But Sunday in the evening, I will send out the email which will let you know that the readings are restocked. So depending on my capacity and where my energy at will depend on how many readings I offer, but these types of readings that I'll be offering will stay somewhat the same at this stage. So If there are any major changes to the readings that I offer, I will try my best to get those changes up on the website before Sunday so that you can actually have a look at it. So have a look at my website. You can see what I offer there in terms of personal readings, and then you can decide before they're restocked which one you would like to buy, and just really hope that when you click on that email, it'll be there. Now, what else did I need to say about personal readings? Does anybody have questions about the readings? That might be more helpful. Process of elimination, instead of me just talking about it all. Patricia, how do we get on the email list? So when you visit my website, there will be like a tab. If you're going on your desktop, it'll be at the top. It'll say personal readings. You just click on it. If you're looking on your mobile, there'll be like a little menu thing on the side with 3 black lines. Click on that and personal readings will be an option there. When you click on personal readings, it'll take you to a page that shows you all the readings that I offer, and it'll also show you the prices as well if you click on the individual readings. But on that main personal readings page, there's like a little section that says stay informed. So I just let you know that I restock my readings regularly, and if you want to be a part of the Stay Informed email campaign gang, you submit your email and your name into that so that I can email you as a part of the group. So just to kind of put it into context, there are over 900 people that are currently subscribed. So I don't want to give out a specific time, because I think that was the downfall of the last restocking, that so many people, a select amount of people knew when it was going to be restocked and they just went for it. So what I can tell you is Sunday evening is when I'll be restocking. Would you offer emergency readings? I've considered it. I'm going to be trialing August, and I'll be seeing how I go in August in terms of, so my website is in the Linktree is in the description box. If you click on my Linktree link, it'll take you to the website. I've considered doing emergency readings, but I need to see how August goes. August is like the trial and error month where I kind of put my feelers out, and I've been thinking about this for a while, but you always learn a lot more when you're doing things rather than theorizing it. So now that I'm practically feet on the ground running, I'm going to have a look and see how we go. So if I don't want to do this many different types of personal readings again, I will probably only offer very basic readings, including an emergency reading as well. But at this stage, because of my capacity, those are the only readings that I'll be offering at the moment. So at the moment, the readings work in 2 different formats, and I think that I am going to change this soon because I don't really like the written format. I feel like many of you guys are very used to my voice. If not my face, you're very used to my voice. So the way that the readings work is there's either a video recorded option where it's very similar to your pick a card groups, except it's just me talking to you, channeling your energy. You get that point of view where you're sitting across the table from me, and I'm showing you the cards as I shuffle and as I read them. So that is one of the options, and those ones are usually they require a little bit more editing and planning afterwards. So those ones are usually a little bit more expensive. And then my other option is the written readings, where I'll basically be taking a photo of your spread and making sure that you can see every card. So I started doing those tonight. So you can see all your cards. I take photos, and then I offer you a PDF file with basically everything that I would have said to you in the video, except in written form as well. So I liked the idea of the written because I liked the idea of you having something physical that you can sort of look at and see the words and connect with it in that way. But I think that in future I want to change the written to a recorded audio file. So it's like a video or audio option, because I do think that many of you are already connected to my voice, if that makes sense. And it does make it easier to be able to do the readings rather than having to transcript what I've said afterwards. At this stage, I can't allow follow-up questions after the readings because I accidentally booked 4 more than I was expecting. So I just can't at this stage, but in future, we shall see if there's a way that I can create it so that it's more efficient in terms of my personal energy, as well as being able to offer enough readings to be able to help, if that makes sense, then yeah, I will allow it in the future. But at this stage, I can't energetically allow myself to offer follow-up questions. It would just run out of time in the week. I might have to scroll back. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, Courtney. When these readings went live, they sold out in 6 minutes. So I restock every Sunday. I don't have to ask for any personal information. That's actually a very good question. So I do know that many readers are different, and this isn't me being judgmental. We all operate very differently. I personally don't need to know anything except what your clear intentions are. So for the style of readings that I offer, they're all categorized based on content that you're familiar with. So I offer my channeled messages from your person. I offer a guidance reading, what do you need to hear now reading. I offer a career reading where if you just want to keep it open, it's based off my previous finances and careers, in a sort of guidance format of what blockages may you be facing, what advice do you need to hear, and what is the overall guidance. That's usually how I structure my readings. But I just forgot the question. I got carried away talking about things. I can't believe me again. What was the question? I'm terrible. I got carried away talking. Here we go. Do I need to ask for personal information? That's right. So no, I don't. Like, unless there is something that you want to include, then that's fine. But I find that I thrive because I without over explaining it, I thrive on just following my intuition. As long as your intentions are clear when you book your reading, then we're good to go. If you come into your reading with unclear intentions or like confusion of not knowing what you want, then it is going to lead to an unclear outcome. And that's something that I've just learned over the years with myself, with the people that I love, and with the people I don't know. It's the same thing. So I don't need to know personal information, especially if you're asking about another person. I'm happy to just channel it as your person, as long as your intentions are clear, and that honestly garners very accurate results from what I found. So you don't need to include their birth date or birth chart or anything like that. Is there any other questions that I've missed? Because I feel like I have. Guidance video, yes. And the thing about the guidance video is that they can be very general in a good way. So one of the wonderful souls who's booked a guidance reading with me has chosen to focus her video on love and career specifically, but because it is so open, because the idea of the video is like, what do you need to hear, what does spirit want you to know, you could be very, very specific, or just leave it open and let spirit speak. And either way, the messages still come through clear as long as your intention is clear. So a guidance reading would be a good idea if you want to cover both two things, for example, without taking up too many readings. And that's also the other thing that I want to talk about. We got away with it this time around, but I do hope that in future I'm able to offer everyone at least, you know, a little bit of something instead of one person, a lot of everything. So the guidance readings, I can't remember off the top of my head, but all the prices are on my website. If you want to click the link in my description box, any description box on my videos, it's thehermittarotshop.com. That's been my website for the last year and a half now. And all the prices are on there. I'm pretty sure the guidance readings written is 145 Australian dollars. And if it's a video, it's 185 from the top of my head. But I can't honestly remember. This whole last 24 hours has been a blur of me just trying to figure out how to explain all of this to you as well. Yeah, but the problem with that is you do get certain people booking multiple readings, which is what I meant by someone getting a lot of something while others only get a little bit of everything. Are they love readings or pre-recorded videos? So they're not pre-recorded. They are recorded in the sense of, I'm sorry, it's like after 10, so I really have to focus when I talk. They are recorded in the sense of you submit your order, and then after you've submitted your order, after we've had that energetic exchange, I then channel your messages. It's not like a pre-recorded one shoe fits all type of message, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not pre-recording a specific guidance reading and then giving it to all of you. It's me channeling that guidance reading for you specifically. So it is a personal reading. It's not me just making, this one shoe fits all type of video. I think in future I do like the idea of live, doing readings live with you, like through Zoom. But I also like the idea of you being able to download your reading and re-watch it and re-listen to it. That's what I found to be most helpful with like my previous personal readings as well. Another reading about ourselves. Do you mean in terms of a pick a card, Naomi? Yes, that's, yeah. So in terms of the new moon, oh my days, you guys, I was having a wonderful time. The new moon in Leo, in terms of how it affected me, I was having a wonderful weekend in my carefree ways. A family member came up from down south and she's been in lockdown, so we hadn't seen her in a while. She wasn't allowed to come and visit us. And then just with money, she wasn't able to get up here, but finally came up, was able to celebrate her 21st birthday, and then the day after that we went into lockdown. So at the time that I'm filming, live streaming with you, I'm technically in lockdown. So it was okay, but it had an unexpected twist at the end. My new moon energy, my new moon, what would I say, like night. It wasn't the night I was expecting. I was expecting to be able to go out and have some fun, but I'm happy to do what makes people feel safe and what helps all of us be safe. So if you do want to check out the prices of the personal readings, I do recommend that you head over to my website, and that way you can also click the stay informed box as well, because I do offer a lot of readings, so to make sure that you're getting the right information. I don't want to accidentally say a price that isn't right, so have a look at my website. I was here on weekend and all day Sunday. I slept. Yes. I've been so tired. Has anybody else been tired? I don't know. I don't know if it's just because it's been colder here, but usually I get a revitalized feeling with new moons. It's full moons where I feel like I have to let energy out. New moons, I feel like I just want to soak energy up. But in this case, I just felt so tired. So tired. It's crazy. No, I would not have messaged you through Instagrams. Thank you so much for talking about that, because I do need to tell you guys that there are more. Are we surprised? I'm sadly not. There are lots of fake accounts on Instagram that are not only impersonating me, but other readers. So many readers. And they're also buying followers to make themselves look more legit. So often these accounts will have like 2,000-ish followers, and they'll have very similar content to us, and they'll literally have like the same description, the same picture, the same sort of feed if you scroll down, but you'll notice if you click on the pictures that they don't have the swiping options, whereas on my page, if it's a pick a card reading, you'll be able to go to your group. The only thing about these, like, I was never bothered about accounts impersonating me, but the most harmful thing about this is that they are preying on people in our community while impersonating me and other readers and asking you for money. Now, I don't think these are readers at all. I haven't heard of someone actually getting a reading from these people. I've just heard of people getting ripped off and having a lot of money stolen, basically, while impersonating other people. So when it comes to personal readings, the only place to book one is on my website. I will not message you directly on Instagram, and I do not take bookings through Instagram either. The only thing I use my Instagram for is to post spiritual content on my stories, to post mini picker cards on my feed, to post reels of Kirk, and just to kind of keep our sense of community alive. That's why I have my Instagram. It's like another point of us connecting, and I do occasionally go live on Instagram as well and do collective readings. But other than that, if you are being messaged by me on Instagram for a personal reading, it's not me. And make sure you double check through my post, double check through my website. You can also email me before you pay them money. I just really strongly encourage you to double check. If you're being asked to pay any money by anyone, double check and make sure. So that's the other reason why I was so hesitant to start offering personal readings again, because I didn't want it to open another doorway for these scammers to be able to take advantage of us. But the only place that I do my personal readings in terms of take bookings is through my website, and it's very much a process of accountability. There's a full transaction record, a full receipt. You have options on how you want to pay, and you're very clearly shown what you're going to be given before you pay money as well. So, and if you have any concerns on top of that, I always encourage you to email me through my website as well. So yes, be careful on Instagram. Yeah, thank goodness you double checked though. Should you trust your gut or the words of a person? I have a very skeptical mind, which is very contrary to my highly spiritual nature. But when it comes to the words of a person, I go with my gut feeling. If I don't have time, for example, the first thing that I will do in terms of trusting someone or knowing someone is I'll wait to see what their character is like through their actions. I always take a person's words with a grain of salt, especially if I'm first meeting them, or even especially if I've known them for a long time and I know what they're like. I usually like to take a person's words with a grain of salt. Someone like me, I know I present well spoken, but I also have a very objective nature of jumping on either side of the fence and taking both sides at the same time. So I like to think that a person's actions are a fairer depiction of their character, but when it comes to gut feeling versus what they say, always trust my gut. Always trust my gut. Yes, Maria, you are. Oh, can I say that? I'll just say that. You are next on my list. You're the next person, so you'll have an email from me very, very soon. Oh, thank you. See, I'm really grateful that you did report that fake account. I never want to ask because I know that well, it's not, yeah, it's just something that I don't want us to have to feed energy into, if that makes sense. But at the same time, these are people, scammers that are genuinely taking advantage of people. So I always, as soon as I hear about a fake account, I report them, and it means, I would like to think that it means a lot more coming from me because it's that person impersonating me. So I always hope that Instagram sees it and that they take faster action, but they're so slow. Instagram is very slow at taking action, and they don't identify fake accounts in a way that Facebook might. You know, Facebook is usually a lot quicker to identify fake accounts. Instagram seems to just want accounts. And their community guidelines seem to be a lot broader, so it's very difficult to get those pages removed unless multiple people report the same thing. And I mean like hordes of people, or that person receives warnings that they've been reported and then deletes their account. It's very much a frustrating process. So that's why I just recommend that you strongly double check before you pay anyone money. I did see that question again. So just a reminder, if you've just joined me, the only place to book a personal reading from me is through my website. Yes, Instagram. Zingara, what a question. Goodness, I gotta think now. Was I 18 or 17? I talk about this on my Patreon, but when I first started reading tarot, I was in uni. I was in university, and gosh, if any of you have ever been to uni or college, we call it uni here in Australia. I just forgot what country I'm from. We call it uni in Australia, but university. It's a very confusing, fun, exciting, experimental time of your life. And tarot found me when I was in that time of my life. Very immature, not yet ready, but I've always been a bit weird in the best of ways. I love my personality, but as soon as I saw the Rider-Waite tarot deck, I was just like, bing, it's for me. And I took it and I didn't make much of it until a long time after, but I was roughly 17, 18 when I first started reading tarot. So that was, goodness, I have to think now. I'm 26 this year, so that was 8 or 9 years ago now. Crazy. Feel like a different person and yet kind of full circle at the same time, coming back to who I was at my core. In terms of social work, I did see that question. I love that you've asked that. It means that you've clearly been watching a lot of videos. I am a social worker at heart, but I'm someone who's very, how do I word this? I feel like the best way to say it is frustrated and burnt out by the system. I feel like there are so many ways that I can help my community that are better without being a part of another organization, if that makes sense. I had very wonderful experiences in my last job doing social work, recovery work, but it is so frustrating working from within a structure against a structure, and there's so many policies and procedures. And that's just not how I was raised in my community. And so I always found it frustrating having those barriers and seeing other community members being able to get around them quicker without having to uphold the image of an organization that was based thousands of kilometers away. So no tea, no shade. I loved my last job, but I'm still always going to be a social worker at heart, just in different ways. I find there are so many ways of helping the community without actually needing to have a title or a role that is assigned by an organization. So yeah, I'm always trying in my own little ways. So yes, technically speaking, I don't do that job anymore, but that role is something that's a part of my ethics and my spirit. So it'll be with me till the day I pass and come back. How did you get the courage to do tarot for people online? I've been thinking about doing this, but worry that my readings would not resonate with them. Honestly, I don't think it was even courage. It might have just been like, I was never focused on anything except making sure that my message was clear. And it didn't have to make sense to me. I just had to be in tune with my intuition and trust that spirit would bring the right people to that message. And I never anticipated that it would get this big. I never ever saw it getting this big, but I always, from then until here, just focused on keeping my intuition at the focal point, in terms of, as long as I'm honoring that and making that the gift, I guess, it doesn't have to make sense to me. Spirit will just bring the right people. So it wasn't courage, maybe it was just foolishness. Because my earlier readings, I recently reviewed them on Twitch. I haven't done a Twitch live stream in 2 weeks now, but I recently reacted to my first reading on YouTube, and I mean, I'm very much the same, but I was clearly not expecting many people to watch that video. So it's not so much courage, as long as you can remove yourself from the equation, which I always have. I never expected to be able to sit down with you and talk to you like this. I always saw the Hermit Tarot as a community, which is why it's called the Hermit Tarot, not Lorraine's Tarot. I always saw it as a community of people coming together, supporting each other, and being able to have a safe space to go through things. Because we all know that love and light is a beautiful saying, but spirituality is as much shadow work as it is light work. So I always wanted this channel to be more than me, and once I really set that intention clear, it became a lot easier to post those videos online. I've never felt self-conscious or afraid, as long as I was focusing on my intentions, my spiritual concepts, what I believe in. Then I've always just been able to do it, if that makes sense. So it almost sounds foolish when you put it like that, but it definitely makes it a lot easier when you put yourself backwards. Oh, goodness me. Oh, is it so difficult to pull cards? Yes, it is. I think many readers can relate to you. I'm sure that well, from what I've heard, connecting with other people, it is a lot. It is very hard to read for yourself. A lot of people struggle with it, me included. I don't do as many readings for myself as I used to. I like all the mini readings on Instagram. I'm really into those. They're so addictive though, so I gotta dial back my consumption. But I think reading for yourself is always a challenge because your ego is right there at the forefront. I find reading for others a lot easier. It's easier to sort of push my ego back and let my spirit connect with theirs. When I'm trying to read for my own spirit, my ego is like, here, like, what are we doing? What is this? What is that? No, don't do that. Oh my gosh, the Seven of Swords. That's terrible. My spirit's like, shut up. Stop it. So it's a common thing from what I've heard from others as well, and myself included. It is difficult reading for yourself. And yes, readings are addictive in general, but to be honest, the way that I see it, and I don't mean to downplay it because obviously I'm a tarot reader, so there's always going to be that little bit of bias. But for me in general, this is me personally, I have a very addictive personality. So I get very easily addicted to everything and anything in a scary way. Like certain things that would be addictive to other people are like breathing to me. So I have to be very careful. That's all I'm going to say. But when it comes to tarot, the way that I separate that addiction from myself in terms of that's a behavior, that's not my character. And this is something that I liken to alcohol, to drugs, to anything that is addictive in nature. The way that I separate that behavior or that harmfulness from my character is by seeing that anything in excess is obviously bad for you. So I liken it to if I was just going to sit on the couch and binge watch all day, you know, there's a time and place for that. But if I were to do that all day, every day, it would slowly eat away at the interests that I actually like doing, which is planting and aquarium hunting. Does that make sense? Not aquarium hunting. I cleaned my aquariums today, but so I see tarot as anything that needs to be moderated, you know, and everyone has their own limits and boundaries in that as well. So it's very important, like anything, that you don't overconsume and that you do practice moderation. It should be a resource, not a dependency. It's something that adds and supplements to us. It doesn't define us. Only we can do that through our present actions. Yeah, that's a good quest. That's a good comment actually. Um, there's times when yeah. Yeah, and see some tarot I feel is so consumable and wholesome that you don't even see it as being addictive, if that makes sense. And then there's other tarot that you don't see as being addictive because it's so quickly consumed. And I don't know if that's better or worse, you know, those readings that you're so like enthralled. You're there listening to every word and then it's over and you're like, crap, I've got to find another one now. Or whether it's worse to kind of just casually watch 10 in like 2 days. Like it's kind of that binge drinking versus having a glass of red wine every single day, you know, like what is worse here? I'm not sure, but just in general, it's about knowing your own limits and consuming within moderation. Oh my gosh, hello, Anchal. I am doing well. How are you? Oh, thank you. It's very late here in Australia, so I'm just, this is me before bed, basically. Oh, goodness. So, did you answer about freelance with limit to one per user every 2 weeks to avoid one person getting too much? I didn't actually. Where was that question? I'll answer you now, MGN. Answer about pre-orders with limit for one reading per user. So what I do recommend in general, I like that you said 2 weeks. I haven't advertised that, but that's what I was thinking tonight. What I say in general, when you purchase a reading from me, you'll get a thank you PDF, just kind of letting you know when you can expect your reading. You usually know that before you book anyway. your reading is delivered within 5 days of you booking it. And the reason for that is if you book it on Sunday, you're going to get it before Friday. That gives me time to be able to get through everybody's readings and also to maintain our pick a group readings here on YouTube. But when you do book a reading, you get a little thank you PDF, and it tells you that I recommend that you don't rebook another reading with me for at least another 4 weeks. And that's mostly so that you don't overconsume, but also so that other people can have an opportunity to book a reading with me as well. At this stage, I don't offer pre-ordering, but I do offer you the opportunity to express your interest on a reading when you click on one, or you can choose to subscribe and stay informed, and then you're a part of that email subscription crew who gets notified as soon as I restock my readings. So just have a look at that on my website. Are there any other questions about the readings that you had? If you want to know about prices, you're going to have a look at the website though, because there are a lot of readings that I offer. How will I know who I'm destined to be with if I already know my twin flame and is currently talking to my soulmate? Oh my gosh. Goodness, sweet pea, that seems a very complicated question for this Q&A. To be honest with you, and I can't say it off the top of my head without spirits, so I'm just going to have to pull it back to your beautiful gut instincts, your intuitive nature. You have to go with what is going to actually make you happy right now as well. It doesn't mean that you're rejecting a person forever, but it means that maybe their present behavior isn't going to contribute towards your happiness. So do consider that if you're talking about a complex soulmate or twin flame situation. What do you think about ethics in tarot reading? I mean, listen, I have some very strong ethics that limit me from being able to do certain pick a group readings, but when it comes to a tarot reading, your privacy, your confidentiality, and your desire for knowledge takes precedence. Like, my personal opinions will always be in the back seat and will let spirit take the wheel. So I never judge anybody for what they share, for what information comes out in a reading. In a personal reading, it's very much a safe place. It's kind of like therapy, I guess. And even though there aren't overarching moderators or like a international organization that can keep me in check with policies, I take my ethics from what I learned through my workplaces, and that's to honor your privacy and to not judge for what comes out in a reading as well. But when it comes to a pick a group reading, I am very specific about what I choose, and there are certain topics that I just don't like to delve into. And one of those topics, which probably shouldn't surprise you, for those who have been following for a while, I've talked about this before, I don't like to do third-party readings. There are many other readers, like Jalissa's messages, for example, who will do very in-depth and very, what I believe to be accurate third-party readings. But for me personally, I just don't like to do them, because there is always that risk of delving into a reading like that and accidentally making us all feel worse instead of better. Because sometimes that truth is something that we already know within ourselves, and to have to hear that from a secondary source, I just don't see that personally in terms of me delivering that message as being helpful. So that is probably the only pick a group reading that I wouldn't do, but if it were a personal reading, absolutely I would, because I can guarantee that I'm going to be giving you specifically clear, honest messages. In a group though, I just feel like that's a big risk, you know, that's a big risk of you just feeling a lot worse rather than better. So that's something that I don't think I could see myself doing. Oh, thank you so much for asking that, Shirin. Yes, so I do need to talk to you guys about the general readings here on YouTube. So that is the other part of this announcement. I probably should have said it in the beginning. But the thing is, now that I'm doing personal readings, I have planned this in a way where I've cut back on other things. So I did mention that I wasn't Twitch streaming for the last 2 weeks. That's been a part of it. I've been recharging in general. There's just going to be a lot less content in general. So what I will be doing is there will be one weekly pick a card reading here on YouTube, and there'll be one weekly pick a card reading exclusively on Patreon as well. And then where I can, I will be doing mini readings on Instagram, but they'll just be here and there when I can. That's not going to be locked into anything. And that's because I am using August to focus mostly on personal readings at the moment. So there will still be that one weekly YouTube reading, and there'll be that one weekly Patreon exclusive reading as well. And Twitch and Instagram will just fall in between. I'll be updating my story on Instagram, but not a heck of a lot of mini readings. So yes, there will be less YouTube. So there will only be that one weekly reading. At the moment, what I was trying to do is upload at least 2 readings a week. But in August, there'll be at least 1 reading a week, and anything else will be supplementary. So that's how it'll work. Yeah, I had to be smart about it. Hey, Robin, I really did. I couldn't just, I mean, don't get me wrong, the temptation was there. I am very much a workaholic. But like anything, we were talking about being addictive and having addictive personalities. You have to do these things in moderation. And for the sake of my own well-being, as well as my energy not burning out, I really had to plan this in a way where it wouldn't be too disruptive, but I'd still be able to do personal readings, because that is something that I do really want to be able to offer. I just like being able to connect with you guys individually, which is why I wanted to do this live stream tonight as well. Even though I'm not like here with you one-on-one, it just feels like this community's gotten so big, and I kind of want it to feel a little bit more cozy wozy, if that makes sense. And doing these lives and personal readings helps that happen as well. So yeah, that's actually a really important piece of information. So thank you so much for asking that question. In terms of the YouTube content, that is what's going to be happening. Yes, absolutely, Courtney, for sure. The way that I see it is, especially if you're trying to connect with someone, with the policy in terms of anything that you were to buy from me, if you feel like you haven't gotten what you came there for, then absolutely you'll get a refund. And I think that if I'm always very careful about connecting with specific people anyway, in terms of channeling specific energies. I usually prefer it if they just pop up as a surprise, which is what happened tonight. When I was channeling a reading, somebody just invited themselves into the reading, and I was like, oh, okay, you're good. You're a nice spirit. Come through. What do you want to say? But if you're booking a reading with a specific intention of channeling a specific energy, you will get a very clear disclaimer from me saying that I can't promise it. But if it does happen, that's wonderful. If it doesn't, then we're just going to have to refund you or book a different reading, because I can't guarantee that I can connect you with a specific person. And I do want to be completely honest and transparent about that as well, if that's your intention. So if you do book a reading with that intention, yeah. Oh, I see. If you don't personally connect. See, that's really interesting, because I always like to double check with you guys when I post your readings to you. I usually like to, like, in the email that I send the reading to, I like to say, like, I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. Please let me know if there are any issues. I hope it was at least something that confirmed what you already know. And the reason that I do that is to hear, like, if you really didn't like what you had, then please tell me. Don't just take it after you've spent good money on it. You know, like, times are hard at the moment. Every dollar is worth you investing appropriately. So if you were to buy a reading for me and you weren't happy with it, do let me know as well. But I've never had a problem with not connecting with someone. I usually find that the issue is me not being able to connect with my intuition. And that will happen if I'm burnt out or if I've overcommitted myself to too many things. Yeah, because my intuition is literally like my higher self guiding me through this. So if that connection's lost, then there's no hope in connecting with that other person. So as long as me and my higher self are good, then personal readings are usually good. I've never had that big issue. I've had readers explain to me that they haven't been able to take readings on and they'll say that I just wasn't able to connect with your energy. But the truth is, a lot of readers can, and they just don't like what they're feeling. A lot of readers, especially if they're experienced and they're used to doing person-to-person readings, they might like connect with you and then go, oof, my gosh, like you're a heavy energy and you're gonna just drain me. So no, I'm sorry, I can't connect with you. So, and they may play it off as like, oh yeah, my intuition's not working, because it's just a lot to take on, which is also fair. It's about having those healthy boundaries as well. And thankfully, I don't think I've ever gotten to that point yet either. We'll touch wood. I can always sort of pick up on whether a reading's going to be very demanding, and I like to just do that reading with its own space and with a lot of water and a lot of smoking and cleansing. Smoking, not smoking like this. But yeah, that's something that happens as well. Readers will pick up on your energy and they might go, ooh, no, don't want to connect with that. Sorry, can't channel your energy. Ever affect you during general readings? No, I don't think so. It's very interesting. I'm going to read that out loud so that you guys know what I'm saying. But the question was, does our energy as viewers ever affect you during general readings? I always try to feel calm and centered when I watch your videos, bless. But my feelings can sometimes be all over the place. To be honest with you, I watch my own readings and they're all over the place. My emotions. Excuse me, people are saying hello to you. People are saying hello to you. Oh, he's so slow. You okay? It's time for his treats. I changed his treats time. His treats time had to change, otherwise he just cries too much. So I keep it spontaneous. He doesn't know it, but it's time for his treats. So we're gonna do it after this live stream. Oh, he's 16. I can't believe he's 16. Sweet, sweet Clementine. But no, sorry, coming back to your question, your energy doesn't usually affect general readings in a like harmful way. If anything, there's always a moment in a reading where I can tell if like someone's going to like, oh no, not the Three of Swords, or if someone's going to be like, yes, the Strength card. So I kind of pick that up, but that's just from experience as well. That's not so much an intuitive energy as much as it is like just experience and what practice will teach you. So I do like to kind of comment on things like that, but it's okay. Like I don't mind if you come to the to the reading with a lot of energy or really chill energy, as long as the intention isn't to be harmful to others. That's the main goal. No. It makes me laugh. He must think I'm the weirdest human. Like I just sit in my house talking to myself all day. He's just like, he's probably so concerned. Oh my gosh. Shivani, I'm actually very grateful that you asked that question. What are your views about twin flames? To be honest with you, what's the date today? It's only Monday. Okay, thank God. I have another podcast episode coming out tomorrow that's going to be about protection and sharing myself and a relative of mine, a beautiful, gorgeous soul. I'm biased. We share blood, but she's a major rock in my life and she had a lot of courage to do this. So she's going to be a guest on my podcast, and we're going to be sharing our ghost stories, which is centered around this idea of how we learned to protect our energy over time. From learning that we had the ability to channel energy and to see spirits, to like learning how to actually protect ourselves from certain spirits. So that episode's coming out tomorrow. And then at the end of this month, I'm going to be releasing a podcast episode about twin flames, because there's a lot of propaganda out there and I just kind of want to clear the air. Obviously, it's a concept, it's a theory, it's nothing that's proven, but there are a lot of vulnerable people who resonate as being a part of this journey who definitely get exploited based on this theme. And while there is a lot of pain in a journey like this, there is also a lot of hope, and it's about growth and it's about self-discovery and it's ultimately about love, the highest love of all. So I do want to talk about how my journey has evolved with the twin flame, and that podcast episode at the end of this month is specifically delving into a lot of the misconceptions, a lot of the questions that I see people asking all the time, and just a lot of the terrible, terrible misconceptions that have been strewn all over the place based on people's pain. I feel like a lot of people have experienced pain from a journey like this and then have just thrown it at other people and tried to tell them to just get over it and do this, and that's not true, and that's not true. And it's like, come on, man, that's not actually helpful. So that'll be coming out at the end of this month. So my podcast is literally on pretty much every First of all, you can see my podcast here on YouTube. All the episodes will be uploaded as videos on this channel as well, but the podcast itself you can stream from Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Deezer. What have I missed, Kirk? I think that's all I can think. Amazon as well, Amazon Music. So you can find it on any of those platforms. I have a link to my podcast in the description box below as well. There's already an episode up. And there's another episode coming out tomorrow, and then at the end of this month there's going to be an episode about twin flames, which I feel I need to be very clear about. I need to really plan it because I want to be concise and I don't want to stir the pot too much, but at the same time I really need to address a lot of the misconceptions that have been only creating more pain in this community. At Hermit Tarot on Spotify. I'm pretty sure I am. The podcast itself is called Spirit Talks, though. So the link to my Spotify, the podcast on Spotify, is in the description box below, just in case you get a bit lost on Spotify, because obviously there's a lot of accounts. But I should be The Hermit Tarot as well. Have I ever seen... Oh, Maria. I can't wait to do your reading, Maria. Have I ever seen angels or archangels? See, I'm a little bit different like that. I think maybe when I was a kid, but I was so young, it feels like such a faint memory. So I can't honestly say that I have seen an angel, but I connect with my loved ones. So what happened to me when I was very young is I had I think what like Western culture calls like a great aunt. But in my culture, we just call them like grandmother. The word is akka. All the people in that generation are called grandmother, grandfather. So I had an akka, a grandmother, pass. And before she passed, I was about 11. She visited me in my sleep, woke me up from sleep. She growled me, which is common in our culture. It's not like a, what do I say? How do I say it? Like the voice is everything. We didn't have like written communication, so your voice is everything. Singing, talking, your communication is your voice or your hands. So we're very like expressive, or our voice is what our main instrument is. So I was going to sleep and she was very, very sick, and I didn't realize at that time, but she was passing away. And she visited me while I was sleeping. She said, "Hey." And I rolled over and I saw her and I was like, "What are you doing here?" And then she slowly just disappeared, and she was wearing this beautiful traditional dress, beautiful bright red traditional dress. And she's now one of my spirit guardians, spirit guides. So I consider her to be an angel for me. And most of the angels on my spiritual team are family members and ancestors. So I haven't seen archangels like Michael or Gabriel or Ariel or Raphael, but my angels are my family, my spirit guides, my family, my ancestors. So yes. How can I... Oh, it's gone. I've got to start to find these questions before they disappear. Oh, I like that question. Can you suggest some beautiful decks that we can connect to and get info on? Mostly everything. Do you think beginners should start with tarot or oracle? Honestly, I would say start with tarot just so you get your head around the concepts of some of the oracle decks. But tarot can feel daunting to learn at first. Tarot can almost feel like you're being encouraged to learn another language. So if the task is so daunting that it's standing in the way of you getting your information, then I would recommend you get an easy oracle deck. But when I say easy, I mean something that isn't based on tarot. Now, to answer the first part of the question, to recommend a deck that would give you a lot of information on a lot of different subjects, the deck that I would recommend is the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck by John Holland. I actually have it here. It's in my filming room though. So that deck will definitely answer pretty much everything and anything. And John Holland creates a lot of different oracle decks, but his decks are based on tarot. So you don't have to know tarot, but it is very helpful to have some idea of the major and minor arcana before you dive into an oracle deck like that. But that is a deck that would be able to answer nearly everything and anything. I think it has, how many cards does it have? Like 68, I think, 66 different cards. It might be 80. It's quite extensive and it covers pretty much everything. It even has your chakras in it. So yeah, it's a very helpful oracle deck, that one. What are the other questions? Oh, oh no, I'm so sorry for your loss, sweets. I just saw that. How long do I spend learning each new deck? Honestly, it varies. I don't allocate a specific time. The idea behind it for me is just about connecting with that deck and knowing that, or at least making that deck know that it's a resource. So I talked about this on my Instagram live when I was unboxing some new decks. What I have to do sometimes is I have to keep that deck around me and bond my energy with it, I guess, by either sleeping with the deck like in my bedside table, or I have it in my study and I make sure that I'm in that room all day. Sometimes I keep it in the kitchen because I'm in the kitchen more than I'm in the study, which is terrible, but that's the truth. So I'll keep the deck somewhere where my energy is at often, and then every now and then I'll just open it up and play with it and see if it feels right. And if it feels right, then I start working with it more. 9 times out of 10, I am a very intuitive reader, so I just pick up a deck and start rolling with it. But every now and then, there's that sneaky oracle deck that works a lot better if you study the guidebook and you actually interpret the meanings based on how the author intended it to be. So every now and then, I do have to do my homework, and in that case, once I start something, I do it with the intention of doing it well. So it could take me weeks, but I make sure I learn each of those cards. One of the decks that I had to do that for was the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. I made sure that I learned all the initiation cards because I didn't want to mess that up, and her meanings were beautiful. So I didn't want to kind of withhold that from the people that I was reading for either. Oh wow, you liked them. Aw, that's beautiful. Which would be apt for my person. Oh, Anchal, you know what? I don't think you're the only one who's experienced that. Sometimes I come across readings which would be apt for my person. What does that mean? Now, I think that sometimes that happens because there's two things. First of all, when we record these readings, they are pre-recorded and there's only so many groups that we pre-record. So if you are going into a reading with the intention of finding out about a person's energy, Spirit will most likely guide you to a group that can offer you the next best thing. If it can't be exact, then as close as you can based on that group. And what that means is sometimes instead of hearing about your person, you're hearing about yourself. And I found this happened a lot recently when I was filming readings. I think it must have been in July or June. A lot of the groups that I was filming, I was like, I don't think this is like the viewer. I think it's the person the viewer's here for. But Spirit was like, just keep filming. And you know what I think this is also about? I think that it's also addressing the fact that a lot of people are awakening, and those who appeared unawakened and, like, I use this word lightly, ignorant to spirituality are going to come back to those readings, and they're going to awaken to their truths, and maybe they'll be searching those picker cards and they'll be finding messages for themselves there as well. So that's something that could happen. And the other side is, yes, true mirroring energies. The other side is that if you are in a situation where you and somebody else are mirroring energy, then you could be shown, you know, your own actions instead of what that person is doing. More often than not, that will happen in a divine connection, a divine counterpart connection. But it could happen with someone who is also very karmic and who you are supposed to learn from. Full stop. That's the idea. You're supposed to learn from them. So it could happen either way. How to protect your energy when you're an empath? That's a good question. And I want to say that, first of all, there is a podcast coming out tomorrow. Not to plug it again, but we do talk about that in the podcast, my beautiful relative and I. Honestly, one size doesn't fit all in that case. Protecting your energy could look very different to each and every one of us, but it doesn't have to be complicated. The message at the end of that podcast is probably something that it will be most helpful for everyone, but it doesn't have to be complicated. I feel like we blow it out of proportion, and it doesn't have to be specific as well. Like, I know that a lot of people have become very comfortable with sage, for example, but that is based on an ancient civilization specific methods and practices that worked for their culture based on herbs that grew in their traditional land. So you could use smoke, but I want to say, does it have to be white sage from California? Probably not. As long as you're using smoke with the intention of clearing and protecting your energy, then it should work just fine. And I feel like that's why things like candles work too. You know, that's why things like crystals work as well. It doesn't have to necessarily be from a specific place, but as long as that intention is clear, it does help. And for me, it's as simple as seeing my empathetic abilities as a mind, body, spirit thing. Like, I'm protecting my spirit from that person's energy, I'm protecting my mind from that person's energy, and I'm protecting my body from their energy. I'm limiting how much contact they have with all three. So without making it complicated, it could be as simple as leaving the room, you know, not physically interacting with them, or not letting them take up space with your mind by giving yourself space on certain platforms if they're constantly checking on you on social media, that type of thing. That can also be a boundary crossed if someone's stalking you online as well, and you're just not wanting that type of energy. But yeah, that's the thing with protection. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it isn't one size fits all either. How do you know if they're karmic or not? I guess it comes down to that person's behavior and how they have shaped your present version of yourself. Honestly, that's a topic that's so deep. We could delve into that for hours, so I'll try to keep it simple. But personally, I see karmic people as people who teach us things about ourselves. But if we were to take that away, there's not much left there in the relationship. Often their behaviors speak louder than their character in terms of how they contribute to us. There'll usually be major conflicts in who they are versus who we are at our core, and what we value versus what they value. They could appear very attractive, but they're often people who are clearly chasing different things in life, if that makes sense. So maybe you have a shared interest in one way, but the attraction to them leads you to believe that you are sharing interests in so many different things, when actually it's you just sacrificing your needs and molding them around what they want to do. So it's not an easy answer, to be honest with you. I feel like that could be a whole podcast episode, so I might have to write that down. It's not an easy answer, but ultimately the idea behind a karmic partner is that they are a temporary person who is highly impactful in your healing journey, because they show you everything that you don't want, and they shape you into being a stronger person once you leave them. This is someone who, once they're out of your life, you'll be better than you were when they were with you. So it's very clear who those people are, but unfortunately, it's often in hindsight that we can appreciate the positives in a relationship like that. I feel like it's very... Oh, that's a good question. Do I meditate every morning? My version of meditation is very minimalist, is what I can say, because I tried to do it in the way that I was shown to at my spiritual centers. Like, I have a spiritual center here in Cairns, and they do like group meditations. And even when I was younger, like I saw meditation being a whole practice that you had to get into, in terms of, you know, sitting up straight, legs crossed, hands open in your lap, deep breathing. And I just kind of found it to be too much of a process to commit to every day. So I tried to make it more simple, and I tried to make it more digestible for my instant gratification needs. I'm not a morning person, so the last thing I want to do is feel like I'm being limited even more than I already am. I'm a dreamer. If you take me out of my dreams, I'm not the best person to be around. So what I try to do instead is I create mindful moments for myself. I take a mindful shower, and that involves me actually paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm washing my body. I'm, doing my hair for the day. How do I want to do my hair? Is this hairstyle going to instill confidence, or is it just easy? Mindful moments, picking clothes that are going to bring the right energy into my life, not things that are just comfortable, but why am I wearing them? Do I like that top, or is it just the thing that will fit me today and not make me hate my body? So it's all about kind of being mindful is what I feel. And I take that practice in everything that I do, or I try to. That is the intention. It's not always the outcome because actions speak louder than words, but I do try my best to be mindful in anything. And that's what I see as a form of meditation as well. Being a lot more simple. It's a simplistic minimalist version. Oh, hello from Melbourne. Oh my gosh, you're in lockdown 6. My brother is in Victoria at the moment. Oh goodness, that sounds beautiful. Coffee and fairy lights. How wonderful. It must be so cold though. Goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh, there's so many questions coming through at the same time. I have to go back. I'm so sorry, you guys. I feel like I've missed so many. 11:11, and it's 11111 on my camera. I did not plan that at all. 11:11, and it was 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds. Holy heck. Let's embrace the blessings of abundance that those numbers will give us. Speaking of, I think that was one of the questions, synchronicities around me. Now it's getting tougher to put thought into it with all the stuff happening around me. How do I overcome this? Oh, goodness me. I understand that there's probably a lot of stuff that you don't want to get into specifics about, but when it comes to manifestation, as long as you've set your clear intentions, you've taken your clear actions, and you've surrendered when you can't take any more actions, then it is really about continuing forward in the best way that you can. Trying not to distract yourself with things that don't lead to your successful outcome, and also trying not to lose faith and hope in the fact that you are co-creating something with the universe. As long as you've done your bit, the universe will come through and do the other side as well. If it's not meant for you, you'll meet a lot of resistance over here while you're trying to do your bit. The universe will go no. And you'll be like, yes, the universe will go no. And usually that means that you're co-creating something that the universe can't help you with. So if you've done all of that and it's been successful, then you just are in that annoying phase where you need to trust that the universe is going to be able to meet you there. If you've been able to co-create and do what you can to the point where there's nothing else that you can possibly do, then you're at that point where you've got to surrender and trust that the universe is going to meet you halfway. Sometimes that process is as quick as 5 minutes, and other times it's as long as 5 years. So it does depend on what you're manifesting and how big it is. And I feel like if you are waiting a long time, it doesn't mean that your life has to stop. There are so many other things going on in your journey. You're a complex spirit having a human experience. So you don't have to sit around twiddling your thumbs and being overly concerned about undoing all of your work. Keep that idea open around what you're manifesting and make sure your actions still align with that. So to liken it to, or to put it into context, let's talk about my car. I talked about this on Instagram. My car is my dream car, and it's something that I manifested when I didn't have a lot of money. And I just wanted it because I saw it as a reliable vehicle that I would look after and be able to take on family trips. And it's something that would be like a sense of look at who you are and what you're capable of, if that makes sense. And that was something that I worked hard to contribute to. I was met with resistance. I changed my tact. Instead of this car, I went for the one that I originally wanted, and the universe was like, yes, that's it. And then I waited and I surrendered. In the meantime, while I waited for the universe to bring that to me, I didn't wane. Like, I kept my intention clear. This is what I want. This is why I want it. I'm not going to settle for anything less than, in terms of I'm not going to confuse the universe or myself by applying for other vehicles, or by selling this car that I currently have too soon and then putting myself out and in a lack sense where I don't have anything and I'm just desperate now. And I don't want to change my actions so that they thwart my original intention. Yeah, I hope that that didn't confuse you. The idea was to be able to put it into context, but I might have accidentally over contextualized it. I'm not surprised. You guys know how much I talk. Oh my gosh, Dubbo. Why is Dubbo so famous in Australia? I feel like I know at least one, every Australian knows at least someone who's from Dubbo, but it must be so cold there as well. And you guys are still in lockdown, if I'm correct? I can't remember. I can't remember, honestly. I'm terrible. But I hope you're safe anyway, and I hope your family's safe as well. What is the best protection against bullies, particularly in the workplace? Oh my gosh. You guys, I don't know. I guess I've Oh no, I can think of a situation now. I was about to say I think I'm really lucky in the sense of, like, I've never had a bully in the workplace, but no, I have. When I was um sorry, Kirk. When I first got a job, there was someone who thought they weren't a bully. We love those kinds of people, don't we? They thought they weren't a bully, but they were very clearly bullying me. And that's such an immature word. I really don't like it. When I see behavior that would be considered harassment or just plain rude, I always call it out. And I think that now that's what people know and appreciate about me. But when it comes to bullying in the workplace, it's very tricky because obviously you want to fall in line with the formal process. I have supported someone put in a formal complaint against someone who was harassing her in the workplace, and it was a very scary experience. You got to do what you feel is both honoring your integrity as a human being, because in the very least you deserve respect as a human being, but at the same time, if you are very, 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 very concerned about losing your job and your livelihood, then I would encourage you to seek all avenues and to look into everything before you commit to any one thing. So, for example, and this is a very practical, logical way of looking at it, but if there is a formal process in the workplace of how bullying is dealt with, maybe first you speak to your direct supervisor, then escalate it to your manager, then you escalate it to HR, and then it gets escalated up there, you know? If you know where that process is leading to and you can already see that process failing you, because let's be honest, processes always fail humans, then know your external supports as well. So thankfully, we live in a modern society. You don't have to rely on support from the organization that's bullying you. You can also get support from external agencies like unions, like legal representation of a lawyer. There are usually certain organizations that are catered to supporting specific sectors. So for hospitality, for example, there'll be a union, and then there may be an organization that specifically focuses on hospitality workers' rights. And while they may not have a lot of push and pull with your company's internal process, they help put a bit of pressure on the external by highlighting in a public way, or in a very how do I word this, like just apply a little bit of heat to the edges way of, if you don't do this, we're going to make it look really bad. So there are many ways that you could go about it, and I do encourage you that if you are getting bullied in the workplace, just know your options, know the processes, and really identify what process you are going to be able to get support from, if that makes sense. Because if you feel like your company or your organization isn't going to support you, there are external options as well. So do look into those. It's obviously going to differ in every country, but yeah, know your options and figure out which one is most helpful. Oh my gosh, we've got Canada in here now. Hello. Goodness. I was just talking about how cold I am, but I feel like that's like our winter. Our winter is probably your summer over there. Brazil, love it. Are there any haters on your YouTube page? How to deal? Honestly, I feel like spirit protects me from them. I'm not as soft as I used to be, so I never take things personally, and that comes back to that judge of character that we were talking about a long time ago now, because this live stream has gone for over an hour. But I always take what people say with a grain of salt, and spirit knows that about me. I'm also fiercely protective of people that I care about, and I really do care about this community. So I usually don't see haters attacking me, but if I see other people attacking other people in our community, I really do need to just drop my phone, go away, and be like, Spirit, what do I do? If I'm not supposed to say something because it could be damaging to this brand that I've created, please tell me now. And usually, what will happen is I'll come back and somebody else from the community has actually commented, and there's usually been, like, this happened very recently, there was actually a healthy discussion between those two members, and they were able to kind of see eye to eye. They didn't agree with each other, but they were able to see eye to eye. So I love that. I feel like this should be a safe place where you can talk about what you're going through, and a lot of that has to do with doubt and skepticism, and that's healthy. It's healthy to question things. Curiosity is the nature of being a human. So as long as you can do that safely in a way that isn't directly hurting any specific person, then I'm fine with it. And I'm very lucky in that sense that I feel like spirit protects me from a lot of that hate. So I don't see a lot of it, but if I do, I try to just see if it's going to solve itself. And if it doesn't, rarely, I would say I could count on this hand how many times I've had to delete a hateful comment. So it hasn't been that bad. I'm pretty lucky. We'll touch wood on that one though. Oh wow, oh my gosh, there's so many. Hello, Seattle, Washington. You know, last night I had a dream that I lived there, and it really nearly made me look into US visas. I was like, oh, I can see this being real. Crazy. I would be very, very cold, but I'm also very quick to, what's the word? Like climatize. So I could see it happening. Seattle, Washington. Beautiful. Oh, hello. Is it raining? I don't know why I asked that. Of course, it's raining in London. It's raining here as well, though. So we have that in common today, except that, oh no, we're probably the same temperature as well. Goodness. There you go. You guys, look at everyone from everywhere. Love it. That's what I love about this community. We're so diverse. I try to explain that to people because I always get asked, especially if, you know, brands want to collaborate, the first thing they usually ask is like, what's your demographic? And I just like bring up the map. It's just the whole world is just this beautiful, colorful shade. We're from all over the world. It's so lovely. Kirky, sweets. Ugh, that's what I love about this community. How can we get rid of the spam? Oh, there you go. Moderators, hey. Let's see. We'll have to. I wonder if that'll let me. There. I just put that user in timeout, so we'll see how long that lasts. I should get rid of some of the spam for now. Yeah, it's so welcoming. I agree. See, I come from a city where we're very ethnically diverse. So it's very it's very easy for me to feel comfortable in a diverse environment, if that makes sense. Like I've always been curious about people. My town is small, but we used to have a thriving tourism. A lot of people come here for the Great Barrier Reef, so you get all kinds of people from all over the world visit. So I thrive in like a diverse environment. I love that this community can be just as diverse almost. Oh, I love you guys. So the next reading, that's a good question. So the next reading should be uploaded this week sometime. I can't guarantee a specific time at this stage because of the personal readings that I'm doing right now, but I'll tell you the 2 days that I had in mind, and that should help narrow it down. I intended for it to be up either Thursday Oh, no, that's a lie. I intended for it to be up either Friday or Sunday. Those were the 2 days that I was intending for. And originally I hoped that it would be up earlier, but the way that the readings work on YouTube is that patrons get early access to them. So that plus my personal readings, I just have to be very careful with my energy. So there will definitely be another reading this week. But in terms of a time, I can't say that with full confidence, and I don't want to just lie. So that's the honest truth. That's the honest truth of it all. I might have to go, you guys. I think I need more water than I've got sitting in front of me. I need to like scull a whole bottle. But if you just joined us at the start of this video, I was talking about the personal readings and I was talking about how that's working and how you can find more information about it as well, how you can book it, what you need to know about them. So when I jump off this live, you'll be able to go back to the start and rewatch it so that you get that important information. I will update the description box as well so that there's little cues. I won't be able to do timestamps, but I'll put little cues in there and I'll make my website more obvious so that you can get to the personal readings information quickly. But before I go, I just want to thank you guys for joining me. I feel like we're all over, literally someone's in Townsville, that's so close, but oh, we're all over the world in this chat. So I really appreciate you for tuning in and for joining me today. I honestly hope that you're all doing your best to stay safe and looking after you. And before you know it, I'll be back in our next pick a card, connecting with you and hopefully offering you more clarity. So until then, keep your eye out for the podcast episode that's coming out tomorrow, and I shall see you in another video. Bye, you guys. Stay safe, please, please.